but we have a tendency of being selfish, you know, amongst ourselves, and I don't understand why. Like now, Raleigh, Mamo, 2 hectares, 3 hectares, we are busy. Next door, it's another African brother. But for some reason, we do not want to exchange information or tell each other exactly what's going on. How do you do it? With that fear, Yauri, or Trompala, or you're going to make more money? Or is that just a thing that I think is a problem? Or is it really something that you guys are facing on communal lands and amongst the small-scale farmers? That is more than man.
No, not that.
Look at
I rapper and Gabutsalen and that.
No, it's really Hamona, it's really Hamona, the Ramotono Lamodimo.
Exactly one and that.
So I think in Naluena we can jump straight into it, right?
Yeah.
We were having an interesting conversation just off air now, and I think that is a place where we can kick it off.
Yes.
You were telling me about your daughter, your 2-year-old daughter.
Yes.
Yauri, you take her to the auction.
Yes.
And like basically you're exposing your daughter to agriculture.
Yes.
From a very young age. We have an understanding your agriculture is a generational thing.
Yes.
And we're doing it for generations to come. This land that we are farming on is borrowed land.
Exactly.
Borrowed from our children.
Yes.
So what is your take on how do we groom the next generation in taking over what we are building now?
Yes. For that, I think the better we start at early as possible. For them, look at us. Our parents couldn't give us the knowledge. We had to go to school at some point. We have to work for farmers. Remember with this
commercial farmers
land taking egg when they were evicted from farming. They couldn't pass the knowledge. So now we are claiming back so that with the land that we have, we can pass it down to the next coming generation. You know, farming is not all the glitz and glam of taking it to Twitter and Facebook and so forth. This thing is because we need to exactly. And then the nice thing, one of the quotes that I used to read, I forgot the book. They would say that the measure, when you measure the success of the man, is after the man has passed on. How does his offspring or his children or his great children do they survive? That's where you measure the success of a man in life. So that we start now, we're giving back to our kids so that they must take in the baton as early as possible.
And it's very true because that talks to, like for in my case, for example, right? Frankly speaking, I grew up in a small town, an agricultural town in Ghana.
Yes.
But me being a typical black child, Asatswing Plaaseng.
Yeah.
I wasn't really aware of what is going on. Like, I'm in an agricultural town, and
yes,
I only got properly introduced to agriculture. I think in my matric year or my gap year the year thereafter. And the way I got introduced, I actually got introduced to the tertiary level of agriculture, whereby the actual selling, because I used to vend tamati, spinach, and even at that time I wasn't aware that I'm involved in agriculture, because now I'm just a vendor. I'm selling what do the people need on the streets. Babata, spinach, tamati. All right, and then that is what I do. Only to find out 2 years after that, my mom passed away. May her soul rest in peace.
Yeah, man.
And I moved to my uncle's place.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moheidelberg. And he's a small-scale farmer, small to medium-scale farmer. He has a decent herd of cattle. And that is where I actually got proper introduced to primary agriculture, where it all starts. Because I got introduced more tertiary, and now I'm in primary ground level. And then that is where I got to understand, this is farming. Farming is not just a business. Farming is actually a lifestyle. You have to live this thing.
Exactly.
I hear a lot of people, and unfortunately influential people. For an example, the president of the African Development Bank, Mr. Adesina Akunomi. I think he's the former minister of the Department of Agriculture in Nigeria. But anyway, he said that agriculture should just be looked at as a wealth generating industry. And I strongly disagree, because this is not just about making money. Farming is not just about making money. It's about more than that. It's about the lifestyle. It's about the peace of mind. We choose to live on the outskirts. It's not that it's a choice to live on a farm. It's peaceful. There's serenity, there's a lot of benefits that comes with it. And my point is it's important to be introduced to agriculture at a young age, because if you get introduced to agriculture at a later stage, like myself when I was probably 21, you have so much catching up to do that your counterparts, someone who actually Plaaseng, he's already 10 steps ahead of you, because farming is what you know. Now at the age of 22, compete who was born and bred in this thing. You are kind of already at a disadvantage.
Exactly.
And I love what you're doing with your daughter.
Exactly. Well, because when they grow up, they tend to become something else. But one thing that we are pushing, we take them as young as they are, because that's the reason. Every time, even though it's a communal farm, but you must know that Papa is urata and this is the way of life. You can make a living out of it, and then you must understand the education behind,
the science behind. You're not playing,
and he must know, okay, this is what we do. She must be hands on, because we must stop this notion where no, we'll only take our young boys to the field
and do practical stuff, but our daughters are the admin.
No, it's not like that. All of them, they need to get in and get in the mud, work. They must work their part off.
Get there, to connect with the soil.
Yes, connect with the soil. Even though it's a communal farm, but the most important thing is the education behind it, because the science behind this thing. Okay, what are we introducing? Because after we come here, we are on borrowed time. We come here, we make a living. It depends to us, how do we impact our lives, or how do we have an impact on the next coming generation. From there, we move on. What's a man?
So, tamo it's a show until we see her. We see her and tweet on continue
they must have an anchor in life, so that they know, okay, this is where our stronghold it is. They can go and become whatever they want to do, acting, you name them, musician, but they know that they've got an anchor. Farming, we like it or not,
the anchor is the root.
It's the root. And people now, as you are right, that people, they come that, okay, we want to make money. Farming is one thing. If you come, you want to make money, you'll make money, but for those certain period of years. But when you come here as patient driven and also love and understanding the nitty-gritties of the farming,
and sustainability in the back of your mind. We're not just
G.
we're thinking long term.
And then you will make money for the long term because you understand the reason behind and also the science behind. But if you come say, no, I want to make money, you will make money, but no, you will not survive. Because remember, most of the money, it goes to what? To labor's
input cost.
You see that? That's why I would say farmers, they don't have money. For farmers, they're just there because they like what they're doing.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Exactly. And just to make it very clear, like you said, you can be very wealthy, like because we see our neighbors driving Land Cruisers. And so Asori, how can I karafam? Because this is the misperception that I think the youth, Rona as Bacha, we have Yauri. We still view agriculture as if you cannot sustain yourself first and foremost, but besides sustaining yourself, I think what is more important, you cannot flourish.
Exactly.
You cannot afford vacations.
Exactly.
You cannot afford nice things because we are always in our work gear, the boots. It's almost like I don't afford the Gucci and whatnot. It's not that we can't afford. We choose to have a simple lifestyle.
Exactly.
Cheleteka banking. The wealth is in the soil. The wealth is in the head, and the youth need to understand that too is possible.
Exactly.
I see skabana motho a le ditshila o nana hore o hloleile.
No. It's just you decide.
It's a choice. Excuse, but going into another topic, we as small scale farmers or yourself in this situation. We resalima on communal land.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And we understand for farming, especially haribuaka livestock, you must have some order.
Yes.
You must have some barriers
where that you would not cross them.
You know?
Yeah.
So how do small scale farmers survive on communal land? Because it's not as if when I live a 5,000 hectare farm where you don't get other cattle contaminating your cattle or passing on viruses and diseases. So how do we manage those kind of challenges as livestock farmers on communal land?
That one is pretty much tough. Because remember, on the communal land, maybe you can say there are maybe a couple of young men that they might understand you on communal land. Remember, people that are on communal land, they are not there for the business that we want. Older people, they get excited that they see they've got a lot of cows. They are not selling them. They get excited.
Sharp bona, most people, what you're saying is most people on communal land are more subsistence farmers. Exactly. They're not where we are. More batang with a sharp.
They are not. Was B mentioned one thing. He said no, on communal land, don't focus. Go. No, you must buy a bull. Focus on buying the cattle for multiplying. Because if you buy a bull on communal land, it won't serve the purpose. Because you buy a specific bull for 50,000, but it's not going to breed only your cattle. It's going to breed for someone
because
else.
everybody's cattle grazes on the same piece of land.
On the same piece of land.
So that is actually invest in our community and now invest in.
And on that, even on diseases, you'll find that you are going to vaccinate. But the guy next door is not. So you see, you're running a
so out tools.
Exactly. Until you come and put more education and tell them, guys, we need to do this. But now there's a challenge. You'll find that on communal and there are older people. When you say, no, we must vaccinate, we must have for a specific bull, we must castrate those ones. They won't say
we must practice rotational grazing.
Exactly. They remember, they're still believing in the old ways. Then they'll say, no. You young men, no. You are bringing us problems. You find us doing the right thing here.
Let us be.
So you see, they are not for business. It's still subsistence. So it's very difficult to bench or to come out of that. If we can talk the whole thing.
And I guess the other thing, what you're saying is you can always teach your neighbors in the community, but because they are older people born in the back then.
Yes.
Buntu education.
Yeah.
They are not really literate people. No disrespect, but
Yeah.
body science, it said that's why I guess it makes it more difficult to explain certain concepts
Exactly.
on tatemoholo, because tatemoholo harute afandi huse
Exactly.
and and it's hard to break those old habits. There's a saying that goes, you can't teach an old dog new
Yeah,
tricks,
new tricks.
because usansala is stuck
Yeah, Sansala
in,
stuff.
in the habits. But where does the youth fit in now that we have? Because clearly we can't just throw our hands in the sky and say didn't I solve it?
Yes.
So where can we come in as the young blood who went to college and we have our diplomas, our masters, our whatever? We are qualified on the theory level, qualified on the practical level, because some of us have worked on big farms and we understand systems and how things operate.
Yes.
So how do we take that knowledge back home? Because in essence, that is what we need to do, even if it's tough. But
Yeah. I get you. I think we can do small workshops and then show the elders that, especially when we do large stock, then show them that for reason B, for us to survive, let us try to change things of doing things in our communal land. Just like we introduce this thing of having certain bulls within this communal land, that we keep them for only breeding, and then understand the breeding system, and also understand the vaccination program, stuff like that. Then we bring this education, because remember, on large stock, especially beef, we survive on characteristics of a bull, so that because we want the offspring
to have the similar characters.
to have the similar.
Breed.
And when we take our and the funny part with this one, when we take when we dehorn, they say no, I don't want my cattle to be dehorned. Now they must understand why are we dehorning. Why is it important?
I guess kini workshop it says
Exactly. Kimorik and angry. No, we must dehorn for this certain reason. And then if you can check more farmers that have dehorned their cattle, they make more money.
Injury free, easy to handle.
Exactly. And from there also, as they are saying in the science part, that a lot of blood it goes to the horns.
So you don't want those nutrients there. You want the nutrients.
I want the nutrients in the body. So that's how I think the education, and then not giving up on them, just bring on them, because I know in each family there's just one person who's got that interest in agriculture. So now if you bring them close, give them the education, I think we are on the right track. We are on just to go back home and just give them this education that we have.
How about education,
Yeah. Okay. Hello guys.
Yeah.
But just to add.
While you are talking, let me just pour some tea first.
Yeah. But I think even the old people, we should get some methods from them.
Yes.
Because we shouldn't move too much to the western side. They've been doing that for a while.
Yeah.
They have some reasons why they are not happy with certain things that we implement.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So
maybe for instance, take maybe like you're in a communal land. You can come up Bonsmara. I'm first and really claim more. No. The meat the bone to meat quality, it's better, it's what, but it's a communal land. Everyone wants to multiply their cattle. So maybe Nguni will do much better there.
So in essence what you're saying, and you're quite right, because we tend to think that the modern way is the best way. But we also have traditional practices that we have been doing.
Yes.
I guess it's just a matter of formalizing those things.
Yes. Taking the two and
combining them. That's what I'm saying. Taking
and then make the best out of it. I think Posti is right, because now there are some.
And they've been there. They've been doing it. They've been doing it. Hence, he's resistant or you come with your change.
And the funny part, my nephew, he doesn't drink the actually, it's so funny. He doesn't take the milk that is direct from the cattle. So now you need to take after milking the cow. Then take a bottle that is branded and just pour the milk inside there. Then he's going to drink it. But it's the same milk that. I think the only thing that because he sees it that it comes direct to to the cow
From the cattle.
From the
It's
cattle.
more believable.
It's more.
But see,
Yeah.
help yourself there, my friend. True, but again, education, guys.
Yeah. Education.
We need to. There's a few things that we need to understand there, right? We need to understand the fact, Yauri. Cheers, gentlemen.
Yeah.
We need to understand the fact, Yauri. We have a language barrier because rona ba ruteileng re rutwe ka sekgowa.
Yeah.
So how do we simplify things for our people, mo re tswang teng, mo mahaeng?
Yeah.
Because you can't just take textbook ya tertiary institution wa ifam dala wa mdala. So do we need to translate this modern agriculture into our native tongues, Lesotho, Zulu, Swati, Ndebele, and you name it? How that's simple. I think that is one of the things where we can start. Our the workshop. Instead, it's a workshop as understand how so change things, simplify things, and with that said, how do we include those olden traditions back, and how do we blend those two?
Yeah. No. I think you just hit spot on. Because where I work now currently, that's what we are doing. We are translating
All this knowledge.
this old knowledge. Agriculture now, if you go and study at Unisa, it doesn't matter now if you're in Ndebele, if you are Tswana. Now some of the question paper, some of the questions that will be in your mother tongue. That's where we are going.
That is, you guys are doing
Yeah,
fantastic
that's what
work.
we are doing. Because I always believe that when you teach me in my language, not I would not understand English, but now it will hit home.
Better. It's more relatable.
It's more relatable. Yeah, because now
It's personal.
Yo, when they say no, cow, komu, you do this. Now you understand. Well, okay, this is what I must do, and then this thing has been given in my home language. It becomes more relatable. And by the way, yo, the coffee is nice. I can see you've got the Jacobs. Now I can see. Not more plastic. Eh?
No, I'm not. I pay and to a rate made.
No, it's good, man.
I love the fact that we have technology now. It's also I think this technology thing is also a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because we still have a generation that is out of tune, like our elders and people in the more communal lands.
Yeah.
Don't have access to the technology and understand it the way we do.
Yeah.
Exposure to the city and so on. But I think technology is a great means to distribute this knowledge. Like instead of a workshop, instead of doing a workshop, and we need a personal touch. Instead of just doing a workshop, where you come from, we can have actually that workshop online.
Yes.
And just advertise it everywhere so that more people can access that knowledge, which is important.
Exactly.
Because it's not everywhere in South Africa communal farmers ba paid. You might find out in the Karoo people who are doing small stock, and they only master small stock. So imagine if you can take a guy from the Northern Cape, deep Northern Cape, and you have a workshop with him where you capture what he's saying, and he can teach us Limpopo, who do not really specialize in small stock, some of those techniques they use in the desert, in arid areas. So if we can take those techniques and apply it here, I mean our small stock can flourish because
we've got grass, we've got water. So them they struggle for grass. They
and
struggle
water.
And
it's about survive.
And then now I can tell you there's an abattoir for sheep in Gauteng. I think it's also Pretoria Northeast on the way to Mamelodi there. When I look at the trucks there that they are delivering for sheep. Most of them, Northern Cape. And you are bringing, you'll find that in a day you see close to 6-7 trucks full of sheep. Then you're like, these people, they don't have water, they don't have grass. Mara, how do they make it? So now if they can bring that, and if we can get that knowledge, that education, we can make wonders, because we've got the advantage of grass at the same time water, so that we can make
something
nice.
there. It's I guess it comes down to the point of education, as you mentioned. Not only should we educate, but we should make sure that education spreads as far and wide. Network. I know you.
Yes, network.
What is the importance of having a farming community, of having network, like in the area more Limanten, because we know that Renale and our people, I don't know what went wrong back in the day or our history, but we have a tendency of being selfish, you know, amongst ourselves, and I don't understand why. Like now, Raleigh, Mamo, 2 hectares, 3 hectares, we are busy. Next door, it's another African brother. But for some reason, we do not want to exchange information or tell each other exactly what's going on. How do you do it? With that fear, Yauri, or Trompala, or you're going to make more money? Or is that just a thing that I think is a problem? Or is it really something that you guys are facing on communal lands and amongst the small scale farmers? Yauri, the network is not strong.
We are small scale farmers and the network is not strong because we get jealous sometimes. I don't know why. Remember this old proverb of African say, I
don't know that one.
Yeah, but it's there. Most of the people from Limpopo, it's derived from Pedi, they know it. But no, but I've seen that on our white counterpart, our brothers, white people. The pie is too big.
It's enough for everybody.
But can I just add? I don't know on communal land because we are not on communal land now. We have around the plots, our African brothers. I think we are doing our best to help each other, or the circle around me. Let me just say that we don't. But the funny part is there's no one from South Africa I'm doing that with. They are all our brothers and sisters from other countries. So from my side, they are open. They can borrow me their equipment. We can share knowledge. There's no that thing of. I think what sets us differently is because we share everything except our market. I don't know where he's selling. He doesn't know where I'm selling. But he can come to me and say, "Man, I have maybe spare tomatoes. Do you know anyone who can sell that?" Then I can go pick it up and drop it wherever. So I just think it's a more of where you are. Because from my side, and we should look at it that way. Yeah, we have a few especially on communal lands, because I know you from Tuka. Maybe that might play a role. But if you come to more
urban areas, peri-urban,
like there's no that much of that.
Because witchcraft, like those are realities.
Yeah, those are realities, man.
Hence, when one gets a bit of money, moves out.
And go to an urban area. But which is we need to fix it. So we can't just keep on urbanization. This urbanization is the reason why we do not have black farmers who are 3 generations in. In most cases, Orona, as black farmers, we are first generation farmers. Or if you are lucky, you are the 2nd generation. I think the problem is once we start making money, we move to better areas, and instead of developing your own little community where you were. But for people who are watching, who don't understand or who's coming into the space, how best would you advise, like maybe someone who is deciding or is just started now last year, or about to start a project or business and moving into small scale farming, how would you advise him or her to go about acquiring that network? Do you go farm to farm and say, hi guys, this is me, I'm farming here, and I'm going to be your neighbor? How do we build that network so that
small scale farmers, if we work together, say, okay, my man, Hagina fertilizer, where can I get the cheaper fertilizer? And then my coconut was no.
Nah,
and then now I'm using this and this. And then, because as I've said, the pie is too big. The pie is too big that we can share.
It's enough for everybody.
It's enough for everyone. It's enough for everyone. So now, this thing of working together, it also builds the trust. It builds the community, the unity amongst the small farmers. Ooh. You see, that is why it doesn't matter where you are. It's nice even you are around with us, we are working together, because now you'll cut the cost. But it doesn't matter where you are. As long as we share the knowledge, then we can conquer.
And thanks to technology, you can be in conversation with someone, go KZN.
Yes,
it doesn't have to be your neighbor.
Exactly.
The community is big.
It's big.
The community is big.
It's big.
Yeah.
And also, in South Africa, we've got the numbers. People are a lot in South Africa. So now those mouths, they need to eat.
Every
day they need to eat. We must feed them. But now, let us fix this thing of network, working together. I think is where we can start working together to get
information
and strengthen it. Yes. Just for example, look at Alzo, what he does. Alzo is a body. All the farmers, small scale, commercial, they are under his umbrella. So now there's information that he shares,
distributes
amongst them. It can be feed, it can be information, it can be medicine. Because you are under ours, you are protected. Why can't we do that as young farmers or as brothers? It doesn't matter you white or black. Why can't we do that? Then so that we've got a small corporate.
We are united. Same standard, whether you're small or big. But
yes. You are there.
One purpose, one standard. Not only everyone is just randomly doing their own thing. We're not building this machine.
Because now,
okay, but I was just saying, we've already started. Platforms like Plaaseng, so those are platforms that don't worry. We as a people, we see that, and we are really trying to do a difference. I just think it's only a matter of time from now till we can really master that.
Yes.
So just to add on you guys.
100%. We're starting somewhere.
I think we're going somewhere. Slowly but surely we are.
The other day, I think we experienced something, and again it just took me back to this whole networking thing. That especially as a small scale farmer, you cannot afford to do everything yourself, even if you wanted to.
No, you can't.
For an example, you can't buy your own tractor. You can't, because Agric
Exactly.
snip up and place that in. Whether you are on 1 hectare, 2 hectare, 5 hectares, you need input costs.
Exactly.
And Hausakala, you do not have $1 million or 500,000 in the bank. We take a tracker, we take a grass cutter, we take a machine or planter. The importance of that network is, I have a tractor, but you as my neighbor, you have a baler, and the other guy who farms 20 kilometers away, he has a planter, and together, Kaborona, we have Kiplasi affiliates, because I borrow yours for now, for maybe 2 years, until production I can now afford to buy my own tractor. He can afford to buy his own whatever.
Exactly.
Instead of you trying to do everything yourself. And then the other thing that I think it also contributes to is when it comes to marketing. Because as a small scale farmer, you do not always meet the quantity. Let's say about our supplier Spar, for an example. And anyway, shout out to Spar. Spar is really supporting small scale farmers by buying our crops and stuff like that. So shout out to them. They're doing an amazing job. And I see Checkers is also following the same trend, because a friend of ours, she works on this farm, Urban Grower. She just started now, somewhere more northeast. or the pyramid in somewhere. But she also told me that Spa with checkers rather was there. So it also seems like they're also starting to do business with small scale farmers. But my point was, when it comes to that network, having a strong network is, as a small scale farmer, you do not always meet the quantities of a supermarket. Let's say Babata di spinach is say 500 every week.
Yes.
And when a production here, realistically, you do ka producer 200. So instead you market here, you can always go to Mr Abraham. Mr Abraham, like to say something, Babata di spinach is say 500. Like it's 200, it's 100, you phone tea.
Exactly.
And we can still meet.
We can still meet the quantity.
The quantity.
Exactly.
And there's power.
There's power there.
We have more bargaining power.
Exactly.
Only quantity then where now only one escape sell samodimu. That the bundle it's out say 50. Because rasazam. So, very important. So thank you for bringing up that one, yeah. The network, and really making sure that we understand how important it is for us to come together. But lastly for me on that point is, I believe, because when we look at our counterparts, like our Asian brothers and sisters, our Indian brothers and sisters, our European brothers and sisters, they seem to have a bigger purpose, or a bigger a common cause that is greater than just the individual. What bounds them together is we as a people need to succeed, not just me alone. But we as a people, and I think Rona as Africans, if we can program the next generation, and even ourselves, because we're still young, we can still adjust this machine.
We can still adjust this machine and move forward.
But we just need to have we just need to be part of something greater than your town, your family,
exactly. Exactly as you said, one common goal. I will give you this to you. If you can go and look at all the commercial farmers that are farming with maize or that are farming with grain, check where they store their grain, where they store their maize.
At all these big corporates,
exactly, because they don't have
storage themselves.
They don't have storage,
and they can't afford necessarily to build these big silos and stuff.
Why can't we come together and build
and contribute? Maybe like if I'm following your thoughts, contribute 5, build a corporation,
exactly. Why don't we have harvesting machine? The self-driven harvesting machine, you need to rent it. But here you've got almost maybe 20,000 hectares that you are planting maize, or you are planting wheat.
As communal farmers amongst us.
But you're still renting the harvesting machine. Why can't we come together and buy one harvesting machine? And then during the time of harvest, then we harvest it. Then we've got our own harvesting machine, our own storage. Then we are able to determine also our price.
Why would you
see how big
we're
is
strong?
Because
we together.
But we don't do that.
That is a topic we can entertain. But I believe that even the viewers, they will comment in the comment down below and just give us their take. Why is it not happening?
Exactly.
And why are we struggling so much?
Why are we struggling so much? Yeah.
Moving on to Basti.
I think one of the things that we're struggling in, it's we don't have enough, I would say, youth in Agric. Why am I saying that? We don't have enough youth in Agric. Like looking at my area alone, and this was something I spoke to with my extension officer. I was like, I'm seeing something. There are a lot of foreign people who are farming, especially small scale. Now, there is the challenge for me, because like even if we can come up half, maybe we will rely on the government, because those things are expensive. Though. Even if you as small scale farmers can come together, those things, because you have to buy something like million. You know what I mean? You're going to need government assistance to a certain extent. I feel like in small scale farming, the challenge is going to be there are going to be a lot of our brothers and sisters from out. That is one of the things, especially around me, like I see that they're still scared of you as a South African. Maybe you eventually you grow, take the land from them, you support this xenophobia, what. Now you know, I have the tractors, I have what. I can have them to myself.
You have a relevant point.
Yeah.
And that is a challenge on its own. I think that the complexity of what we're discussing, we understand that this thing is very complex. But I believe that we just need to start. Whether we start with our African brothers and sisters, because like I'm saying, we need to get to a point as Africans, Yauri. We are Africans first, before you are South African, before you are Limpopian, before you are Sowetan.
Before you are Zulu, before you are Tswana, Ndebele, you name it, you are an African.
We are Africans.
Yes.
So I think once we can start, then in that process we can sort out all this other political and nitty-gritties.
Yes.
But we just need to start to show the next generation that it's possible, Lori, Ronas Batubaba, and work towards a common goal.
Yes.
In transition, like Basti just mentioned now, let's bring that point in Yahoromen. Because we cannot discuss anything without touching on Taba Yahoromen.
Yes.
Rona as Bacha, Rona as small scale farmers. Let's take Wena for an example. How do you think, because Rutusis are the challenge, the challenge, the government is not always as efficient as they can be. There's sometimes miscommunication between us as farmers on the ground and the politicians who set these policies and come up with these programs. So that and so that the politicians and people in government do as we say, not as they think, but do as we say. How do we improve that communication channel and that relationship with the government? Because we have kind of a negative relationship. We're
always fighting.
You're always fighting. So how do we polish? Because the government is not as bad as we assume. It's just I believe we have a miscommunication. Lack of understanding.
I think so.
How do we improve on that?
I think we can just find a common ground so that we sit down. Because now, if I check, most of our extension officers, they are not as old. Probably they get
young. How old was the extension officer?
She's somewhere in her 30s.
Yeah,
but still in the youth.
So it's just a 5-year, 3-year gap. We need to sit down with them. And because they've got a lot of programs.
A lot
of programs. Now we need to sit down with them that, okay, guys, this is what we want. This is what, and also have a time frame with them. And our first 6 months and our first 12 months, this is what we want to achieve by working with the government. This is what we want. You can take us from here up to here. And then from there, we can go up to 5 to 10, 10 to 15 from there. We just need to sit down and talk to us. And also they must be honest to us. So, okay, guys, what you want from us, we can execute from 5 to 6, but we can't get to 8.
In essence, what you're saying is, the government needs to making false commitments.
Yes.
Sorry, the intentions are good, but sometimes it's just it's not realistic.
It's not realistic.
We understand about the vote, but
one need to us. Remember, now we are farmers. And then you know the funny part about farming. Farming it stops you from lying.
You have to be. It's a noble profession.
Exactly, because when you put the seed there, you always have faith, and faith you have to pray. So
you have to be connected.
You can't always put lies on farming, because now these seeds and everything, they are very sensitive. If you're going to play around, they will show you flames. So that is why we need the government to sit down with us and to discuss this thing further. Said, okay, guys, we are going to sponsor you 2 years. Then from there we are done. We are moving to someone else. Just give us that time frame. Then we know that within the 2 years, government is going to be us with us, and then after that, we are going to be on our own. And then also government must just come back. So, God, what we have planted from you, Are you still doing the same thing?
Are you meeting the targets?
Yes. What are the challenges? What are the solutions? So that they can take the knowledge from us, and then when they are moving to someone else, they know, okay, those ones they experience. Yes, this was this.
So this one must be better.
Exactly, exactly. That's what we need. They are not bad every time. As you said, now there is a miscommunication between us. We just need to sit down and be honest to each other. Exactly.
What's going on?
What's going on?
With that, if this is also a topic that we can extend.
Yes,
but
yes.
In closing,
I can say, whatever that you are doing now, not everything happens by luck. What we are doing now at the moment is already preparing us for something else in future.
Something bigger.
So
something that you start, how Salomonian?
Yes.
Small scale.
Uskanyas. Never underestimate your efforts on whatever that you are doing in farm, or it may not be in farm or in business, but it's always preparing for another situation. Would have thought today I would be sitting with you discussing some of these things in the podcast.
And these are conversations that we had back in Pampoon, 2015. And now it's materializing. And back then, what are they talking about?
What are they talking about? But look at us today. Look at us today. We are able to sit down, and the nice thing, the love, the connection is still the same as we have just met yesterday.
It's still authentic.
Exactly. So now we need to look after each other, to look after our product or our farming community, so that we know that in future these things are preparing us to work and also have the common purpose, or we can say the common goal, and then so that we are able to take the country, we are able to take the continent forward. We like it or not, we are the food basket of this world. Africa always rise. I always say that farmers, we need to work together and become the basket of this world.
Become one, that we can feed the globe.
Yes, we can feed the globe. You like it or not, Africa. That is why we are the motherland. We are the food basket of the world. Exactly.
Thank you very much, Siba, because we as the now generation or the Y generation, we have a tendency of not wanting to start from scratch. Because you don't want to start from 1 hectare. When a government you fair land cruiser, you fair tracker, you fair the implement. Like from humble beginnings.
Exactly.
And thank you very much for stretching that, because it's very important. Grow together.
Exactly.
Look at, because agriculture is long term.
It's long term.
And in actual fact, when you start, in the first year, be sure that you're not going to make money. Look at making money in maybe your second, your third year. This is not short term. Humble beginnings.
Humble beginning, always.
You grew up under your grandfather. Give us in closing from you, what is one of the key lessons as an old school farmer that he instilled in you that you still carry till this day?
Yeah, he just passed on.
May his soul rest in peace.
Last year, it is may his soul rest in peace. But I was very fortunate enough, because I had 2 of my grandfathers that I grew up under them. One passed on in 2002. May his soul rest in peace. But I knew from that for them to work you learn, to work you fail, you learn from your failures. And then that is why you would say, when you practice the right thing, it make everything to be best and to be perfect.
Excellent.
Yes, because now my grandfather always said, nothing beats work. When you are a cleaner, make sure that you clean the best. When you are a doorkeeper, make sure that you are the best doorkeeper. Make your things that you do, make them perfectly, make them very best. Then they are preparing you for the next coming situation. And my grandfather was just having a small scale farming. But the potatoes, the sweet corn sorry about that. The sweet corn that he used to produce there, maize meal that you used to produce there, they were the best with that small scale farming. You work. That's the only thing. You work. Put in the work. Put in extra hours. Then you're done. The sky is the limit, man.
That is Sibanyoni.
No, thanks.
Let's stay committed
to
excellence.
Exactly. And thank you for being in Plaaseng. This is nice, yo.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
but staying committed to excellence.
Yeah.
Like you said, whatever we touch, small, big, standard excellence.
Exactly. No, thank you, Dad.
That.